Hello. In this video, we are going to talk about the history of flooding in the Thames Valley.
The rivers of the Thames Valley have flooded many times over the years. The photos that you're looking at here are from March 1947. The rapid melting of snow at the end of that winter led to the biggest flood in living memory on the River Thames. Since 1947, there have been significant improvements to the river system, notably the upgrades to our weirs and improvements to our river management. We've also implemented temporary and permanent flood defence schemes. Our forecasting, flood warning and digital capabilities are also much more powerful. People are better protected now than they have ever been.
And when we respond to flooding, we don't work alone. We have strong partnerships with local authorities, the fire service, police, the army and with water companies. Using our combined knowledge and expertise, we deliver a joined up and professional response. However, it is important to remember that the number of properties has grown massively in the Thames Valley since 1947. So there are a lot more businesses and people living in the floodplain than there ever used to be.
1947 is by no means the biggest flood in our historic records. An extreme rainfall event in 1894 led to a much bigger flood in the Thames. This photo is from the Oxford area, where both the railway and roads were flooded. And this article is from the Reading Chronicle, where local resident Mrs. Stamp recalls her house being surrounded by 3 feet of water. She even remembers them fishing from the back windows, as the fish would swim round the walls of the house. Other big floods of note include 1968, where the rivers Mole and Wey flooded, which had devastating impacts in the Guildford area, and Easter 1998, where there was extensive flooding in the northern parts of the Thames catchment, particularly in the Cherwell around the Banbury area.
These photos are from the winter of 2013 and 14, when we were hit by a 10-week sequence of Atlantic storms. This led to widespread flooding in the Thames Valley. It was particularly notable because it lasted for such a long time, with various communities inundated by floodwater and ourselves and the emergency services on alert for weeks. Floods today are much more disruptive than they used to be. For example, nowadays our houses have electricity and internet connections and fitted carpets. For every property flooded, it is estimated that 15 people are impacted. We will explore this in more detail in the Impacts of Flooding video.
Another of our videos explores how the changing climate is increasing the frequency and size of floods. This is a risk we're very concerned about, and we need to prepare for it. To conclude, the rivers of the Thames Valley have always flooded. We've learned from these floods and made a lot of changes to improve our resilience. However, we are still at risk from bigger floods, particularly as we've developed on the floodplain and because climate change will increase the size and frequency of floods in our rivers.